Konnichiwa. Wow. Sing Buni Nilanga. Konnichiwa. Nyazi bonge la bedinga. Konnichiwa. Wow. Sing Buni.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you making time. Every time I hold the mic, it takes me back to the career that could have been. You know, there was a time where I thought I was going to be a rapper. I don't think I would have made impact in that field. But actually, there's a funny story to, you know, rap is about swag, is about confidence, but also you need to be clever and creative. So, remember back in the day where you used to have flyers and then all the important artists will be listed, and then somewhere there it would say, and many more. Then I was like, what if I was and many more? At every event, I would just show up and they say, why are you here? I'm like, duh. And many more is here. But then I went for what I thought was a more creative name, which was Oxymoron, because I thought I didn't want to be a bad boy. But apparently, according to hip hop, you have to have some element of, you know. So I thought Oxymoron was perfect because then I'd be like, if I do something bad, then I'd be like, well, you know. So this is going to be my impact opening. Hopefully it won't be that long. So it is about sustainable impact. As Kojo mentioned, it's about brands for good. So this was the first one. As you can see the date, I think with the platform, we are almost a year in. But I took a bit of a break in between. So this was the first one. And then we had our second episode. And then we had a third episode, and now we are here. Thank you. Thank you. So, all of these sessions had got me thinking. You know, Kojo speaks about strategy, and it got me thinking, and even the work that we're doing, it got me thinking about our country. Where is our country going? You know, with every corporate, there's always a vision. But I'm not sure if I know what South Africa's vision is. In the context of the continent and globally, what is truly our vision? And I don't know if there's anybody who can articulate where we are going and what our vision is. I'd like to play a clip, hopefully. I'd like to get some ambience, actually. Hopefully you can see it.
This ain't really work, though. This is not really work. This is my career. It's not really a job. This is my career. You know, some people have jobs. Some people have careers. Some of you are on the audience. Some of you got jobs. Some of you have careers.
Excuse the language.
People in the audience with careers need to learn to shut the fuck up when you're around people with jobs. They don't want to hear your career bullshit. Keep that shit to yourself. Okay? Don't let your happiness make somebody sad. Because that's what it does. Nah, man. But I used to work. I used to have a job. I used to work at Red Lobster. I used to work at Red Lobster. You know, Queens Boulevard. I served you. Good. I was a dishwasher. Used to scrape shrimp in the garbage cans and then load up the dishwasher in there. And that was my real job. I got a raise, and then we got a promotion. They kept me in the back. They kept me back there because I had really fucked up teeth. And they didn't want people to think that shrimp fucked up your teeth. And that's what they do at restaurants. They put the ugliest people in the back. So if you don't like the people in the front, you don't want to see the people in the back. And that was my real job. I wasn't working my way through school. I wasn't working my way and telling jokes, that was my life. 1989, I was scraping shrimp, okay? And people go, Chris, how'd you end up like that? How the fuck did that happen to you? Minimum wage job? I'll tell you exactly how that happened to me. I dropped out of school in the 10th grade. Dropped out in the 10th grade, which is the dumbest thing you could ever fucking do. You know why? Because when you drop out in the 10th grade, you really might as well have dropped out in the 2nd grade. Why? Because you qualified for the exact same job. Matter of fact, the person that dropped out in the 2nd grade is more qualified because they had 8 years of work experience. Yeah, man. Used to scrape those fucking shrimp, man. It used to kill me. But I'll tell you this right now. Now I have a career. I've been blessed with a career. So if you got a career, thank God. If you got a job, I hope you get a career one day. That's right. Because when you got a career, there ain't enough time in the day. There ain't enough time. You got a career, you look at your watch, time just flies. Like, God damn, whoa. It's 5:35. Damn, I gotta come in early tomorrow and work on my project. Because there ain't enough time when you got a career. When you got a job, there's too much time. That's like you look at your watch like, shit, 9:08. You don't even trust the time when you got a job. You like, what time you got? 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 9:15. Whoever got the latest time is the right time. You got the right time. You got the right time. You ever play the time game with yourself at work? You ever play the time game where you go, I'm not going to look at my watch for 2 hours. I'm going to sit here and scrape these shrimp. Scrape, 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 scrape. Okay, hours pass. Maybe I should look. Feel good? Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna wait a whole nother hour. Scrape, 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 all right, 2 hours passed. Time to look and feel good about myself. And you look, 15 minutes. Yeah.
I think that's the point. I feel like South Africa feels more like a job. What is our vision? Going back to our vision, I'll tell you a story. And you know, I believe and I think our vision is based on the fear of the past. Sorry? Oh, sorry. You see, I couldn't have made a good rapper. Even when you think about the concept of the Rainbow Nation, right? So when you think about a Rainbow Nation, if the picture looks good, then you don't think about the detail of other things. It's because of where we come from. I remember back in the day in advertising, we used to have the Rainbow Nation in the ad, and you also have to put in a little bit of a braai and have rainbow children, and then you're good. And that sort of feels like that's what South Africa is. But it is not based on, I don't think we are based on an optimistic future. I don't think we know where we're going. I don't think we know what we need to do to get there. I want to tell you a story about how Oprah Winfrey became Oprah. So there's a difference. You know when you start using your first name only, that's when you know that you are in. So she used to be Oprah Winfrey, which I think, which is where we are as South Africa. Colloquially, maybe people may make jokes around Sauda, but I don't think we've earned the first name. You know, we can't be called on a first name basis yet. So Oprah used to be a regular journalist. She used to do regular shows, blah, 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 like everybody else. And then something happened where it changed the trajectory of Oprah Winfrey to her becoming Oprah. So she had done this beautiful episode. I don't know if I'm using, use the word beautiful cautiously, but from a content perspective, it is beautiful. Story was done, ready to go. Literally, they just have to press a button, and the episode, the interview would be uploaded. And then she started thinking about the consequence of that episode. So in this episode, she had a mother who is a teacher by day, and by night, she's the lady overnight, i.e. she's a prostitute. Beautiful content. It was going to be headline everywhere. And then she started thinking about the impact and the consequence of playing that episode. She started thinking about the 10-year-old. In that space of thinking about what would this episode do to this 10-year-old, she decided to pull back the episode. From then onwards, her key word or her key theme was around this word called intention. When teams are brainstorming, thinking about a number of things, the biggest thing they need to think about is the intention. What is the intention with this episode? Now, when you think about South Africa, I'm not quite sure what our intention is, apart from making sure that we don't go back to where we came from. But what about where we're going? So, as mentioned, I don't think we are intentional. And I suppose that's why so I believe that corporate South Africa, especially having done these episodes where I've hosted a number of brands, what I'm realizing is that corporate South Africa seems to be more intentional than South Africa as a whole. And one could say, from a political perspective. Even now with politics, it's about who's going to win, it's about the political parties, but where is our country going? And I believe that in the absence of South Africa's overarching vision, corporate South Africa is giving us what I call mini visions. And you'll see from the panel in terms of how each brand has articulated their own vision. And for me, it's leadership at a micro level. When you think about the context of South Africa and where we are, and the work that brands are doing, I promise you, if you pull the plug on what brands are doing, we are going to be in a far worse state than we think we are. All of this leads to this idea. So there's a lot of jargon, there's a lot of talk, ESG, sustainability, all of that. For me, it boils down to this one concept, which is sustainable impact. And we have a formula. Not to take too much of your time, but it's a very basic formula. 1 + 1 + 1 equals 4. Basically, what the ones mean, or what the ones mean, is that the first one is intention, as you would have guessed it, right? The first one is intention, is the brand intention, the brand corporate wanting to do good. The second one is the problem. And I'm not saying corporates are going to solve all our problems, but to be effective, you need to identify at least one problem. Luckily, the guys that we have on the panel, they do more than solve one problem. But ideally, you can start with one problem. And then you apply a solution to that problem, which leads to EPR, which I refer to as exponential positive results. And this is what you're going to get from the panels and their presentation. You will see the power of having a clear intention, an articulated problem, and applying a solution that's effective. You achieve more than you would have planned for. And depending on how effective you are, your 4 could be A5, could be A6, could be A7. You get the picture. So it is based off all these sessions that we've hosted. There are learnings and blueprints that can be applied, even for yourselves or for your corporate organizations. Now, what these lessons have led up to is a keynote that I put together. There's actually more than 10, but to get to the point, I've got 10 principles around how to create social impact. But I want to focus on not all of them, because you guys didn't pay. I'd like to focus on the second one. And the second one is important because of the panel that we have. The second principle is making sure that you have the right people. What I'm learning in this space is that you cannot have somebody who's just looking for a job. It will never work. So the people that are doing these initiatives, that are doing these jobs, you need to be clear and deliberate about the person that you're putting in that role. Because this is not the fancy stuff. These guys don't do TV shoots and all of that. They do their work. They're literally, on the ground doing the work. So you need to have the right people, and that helps make the job a lot easier. So I'd like to end off my impact opening with your participation. We're all going to participate. At least we're not going to rap or do anything. So on the count of 3, I'd like for everybody to complete the hashtag. So I will start. I will say impact, and you guys will give a resounding over everything. On the count of 3. Was that clear? Laurent? Laurent is looking at me like, that's not a bar. He's just like, I got bars. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Impact. Thank you.